So, hello, dear children. Unit Charities and Conflict, Lesson 17, English Plus, page 48. The topic of today's lesson is reporting verbs. Aims of today's lesson: learn reporting verbs, read about famous protests, learn how to learn verb patterns. So, exercise 1. Look at the photo. Which of these items in the box can you see? The first word, demonstrators. Look at this photo. Can you see on this photo demonstrators? Yes, you can see. Police. Yes, you can see. Banner. Yes, a lot of banners you can see. And flag, high visibility jacket, and helmets you can see also. So that means all items in the box you can see on this picture, yes? Exercise 2. Check the meaning of the verbs in the box. Then choose the correct words in the text. So at first, please look at these verbs. Invite, шақыру, order, бұйыру, тапсырыс беру, refuse, бас тарту, explain, түсіндіру, convince, көзін жеткізу, offer, ұсыну, agree, келісу, complain, шағымдану, admit, мойындау, insist дегеніне көндіру, айтқанын істету. So, now please read out this text. This is on page number 48 of your students' books. And please choose the correct options of the verbs. A friend invited or refused me to join an anti-war demonstration in London in 2003. She offered or admitted to take me by car. Please choose the correct verbs and write them down on your copybooks. So, if you have finished, please look at this study strategy in exercise 3 of your students' books. Learning verb patterns. Verb patterns are some verbs that take after them some constructions, yes? So study the verb patterns in the table. Add 5 more verbs from the text in exercise 1 to the table. So you have read the text, yes, in exercise 2. And from this text, you should put some missing verbs here, yes, to this table. First construction, verb, object, and infinitive. Яғни, етістік, одан кейін толықтауыш, одан кейін инфинитив. Toмен бірге жүретін инфинитив тұру керек. Ондай конструкциямен қолданылатын етістіктер. Order, someone to do something. Біреуге бір нәрсені істеуді бұйыру. Ask someone to do something. Біреуге бір нәрсені істеуді сұрау. Tell someone to do something. Біреуге бір нәрсені істеуді айту. Invite someone to do something. Біреуге бір нәрсені істеуге шақыру. Және келесі қандай етістік? Мәтіннен қарап, сол етістікті тауып жазамыз. Дұрыс, ол етістік convince болады, иә? Convince someone to do something. Яғни біреуге бір нәрсені істеуді көзін жеткізу. Келесі конструкция, verb infinitive. Verb patterns дегеніміз жалпы етістікті тіркестер, иә? Verb patterns, verb and infinitive, яғни етістік және infinitive. Бұл жерде етістіктен кейін мына жерде алдыңғы конструкциядағыдай object жоқ, яғни толықтаушты жазбаймыз. Бірден инфинитивная форма қолданылады, иә? Яғни бастапқы to деген осындай сөзбен бірге. Refuse to do something. Бір нәрсе істеуден бас тарту. Одан кейін қандай екі етістікті қоюға болады? Мәтіннен қарап, сол етістіктерді жазу керек. Келесі конструкция verb and that. Яғни етістік, содан кейін that сөз тұрады. Complain that. Бір нәрсе деп жаңағы шағымдану. Admit that. Бір нәрсені мойындау. Және тағы да екі етістікті мәтіннен қарап тауып жазу керек. Please do this exercise on your copybooks. Now let's do exercise number 4. Rewrite sentences. Then listen and check your answers. Мына жерде берілген сөйлемдерді, яғни reporting verbs, яғни төлеу етістіктерді қолданып, осы сөйлемдерді жазып шығу керек. Мысалы, go to your room, Sandra. Бұл деген бұйрық, я? Өз бөлмеңе баршы, Сандра, деп бұйырып тұр. Яғни сіз айтуыңыз керексіз, ол Сандраға өз бөлмесіне баруды бұйырды деп. Біз қалай айтамыз? He ordered. He ordered, orderдан кейін someone деп тұр. Яғни кімге айтты? Sandra. He ordered Sandra. Одан кейін to go to her room. Сол сияқты. He, no, I won't go. Жоқ, мен бармаймын. Ол, яғни бас тартты, я? He refused. Refusedен кейін бірден инфинитив кетеді конструкция бойынша. He refused to go. Shall I open the window? Терезені ашайын ба? Ол не істеді? Яғни ұсынды. Ол терезені ашуды ұсынды деген қалай айтамыз? She offered to open the window, я? Сол сияқты келесі сөйлемдерді де өздеріңіз жазып шығасыздар.
Track 2.4. 1.
Go to your room, Sandra.
He ordered Sandra to go to her room.
2.
No, I won't go. He refused to go.
3.
Shall I open the window?
She offered to open the window.
4.
Will you all come to my party?
He invited us to come to his party.
5.
We haven't got any money.
They complained that they didn't have any money.
6.
I didn't do it. He insisted that he didn't do it.
'Енді осы сөйлемдерді тексергеннен кейін ары қарай
Track 2.5.
in these exercises,
Welcome to the program. This week we're looking at protests and demonstrations with Don Green, our expert in Oxford. There have been many important protests around the world over the last century. The Women's March for Equality in 1913, the March on Washington in 1963, when Martin Luther King gave his famous I Have a Dream speech, and the demonstrations in Germany that led to the Berlin Wall coming down in 1989. Don, all of these protests have had a big impact on history. How many people does it take to make a difference?
That's a very good question. Actually, there isn't a direct connection with the size of the protest and the effect it has.
Can you give us an example?
Well, the Women's March in 1913 had only 8,000 marchers. The effect of the march wasn't immediate, but it was eventually successful, and women gained the right to vote in 1920.
And how about the protests in Germany?
Amazingly, the first time people met in 1982, there were only a dozen, but the number grew to 1,000 quite quickly. And eventually, in 1989, it became a very significant demonstration of 300,000.
So would you say protests take time?
Indeed, change doesn't come overnight.
Is the March on Washington a good example?
Yes, the march was made up of a very large group of protesters, around 200,000. This was in 1963. It took a year for the march to have any effect.
And what was the effect?
The government passed a law that protects people, black and white, against discrimination.
So time is a factor as well as size.
That's right. But we have to mention one demonstration that happened more recently, the anti-war protests in 2003. Protests took place in 600 cities around the world, and at least 6 million people took part.
6 million?
At least. Possibly 30. No one is really sure. There were over 1 million protesters at the demonstration in London alone. The biggest protest march in Britain's entire history.
And what was the effect?
Nothing. The governments at the time chose to go ahead with their plans, and the demonstrations were virtually forgotten.
So size doesn't always matter.
Not necessarily, as those millions of people discovered a year later.
So, you have listened to this conversation and please write true or false in exercise 6. Please do all these tasks in written form on your copybooks. Take a photo of your copybooks with your tasks and send. Have a nice day. Goodbye. That was the end of our lesson.